I'm doing this because I've been intrigued by this featherweight tournament. I did a breakdown at the very start. Some of my picks were way off. Some guys did really well in the tournament and others struggled. It was a really interesting one from the very start. And as it's played out, and now we've got the finalists facing off, we've got Chingiz Allazov facing Sitthichai Sitsongpeenong in the final. Sitthichai is 127 wins, 32 losses and 5 draws, compared to Chingiz Allazov, who is 58 wins and 5 losses. There are 2 other things that stand out to me when we compare their records. First of all, it's the height difference. So Sitthichai is 5'8" compared to Allazov, who's 5'11.5". There is an inch reach advantage for Sitthichai, but I don't really feel like that's going to play in a great deal. But of the 150-odd fights that Sitthichai's had, he's had 39 knockouts. And of the 63 fights that Allazov has had, he's had 36 knockouts. So, yes, a lot less fights, but a lot more damage, a lot more power striking, a lot more ability to put people out before the end of the fights. Now, that works in an advantage as well as a disadvantage. The reason that Izzy's such a good kickboxer is because he didn't knock many people out, which means he got loads and loads of rounds of working against guys and being a better striker. If you're a big power striker, that can run out very quickly if you don't land those shots. And then the veterans come in and take over because they know how to cruise to a comfortable decision and outpoint you. One other thing that is interesting for me in this one as well, because Superbon's fighting Murat Grigorian for the featherweight belt. So that's a rematch. Grigorian stopped him in 29 seconds back in 2018. So we've got the defending kickboxing featherweight champion Superbon defending his belt against someone that stopped him within 30 seconds. So that initially is very interesting. Then the other thing that's worth noting is that both of these guys have got losses to one or both of the people in the main event. So Sitthichai's only losses in the last 5 years is a unanimous decision to Superbon and to Grigorian. Allazov has a 5-round loss to Grigorian. So not only are they looking at their next opponent like, okay, Sitthichai's a massive win. For Allazov, it would be payback. Sitthichai is working his way through the next guy to get payback from one of the guys in the top and wants that belt because, at 30 years old, he's probably looking at maybe another couple of years of competing. He wants that gold around his waist. And this tournament was the ideal way to get to it. And he's looked great so far. Beating Typhon Ozcan, beating David Kiria are huge wins on his record. And the way that he did it shows an ability to fight moving forward as well as moving backwards. So regardless of how this fight's playing out, we know Sitthichai can play both games. On the flip side, you've got Chingiz Allazov, who stopped Sana with a lovely body shot after catching him with the head kick. And then the counter straight left against Joe Natawut. 2 big first-round finishers. He's the bigger guy. He's the heavier guy. He's going to be coming in expecting to be able to stop Sitthichai. And for me, Allazov looks like he's on form at the moment. I'm sure the previous fight against Sitthichai seems so far away in his own mind that this is it's almost like Sitthichai doesn't know who he is. That's kind of how I'd be feeling if I was Allazov going into this. And the form that he's shown in this tournament so far, the way that he's ran through his last 2 opponents, you've got to think if he lands the right shots on Sitthichai, if he starts confident in the first round and puts it on him, we might see another first round finish. And then you've got him moving into the championship fight with the winner of Superbon and Murat Grigorian. One Championship are doing fantastic things with their kickboxing divisions at the moment. The DJ Rodtang fight is going to be great. If you've not watched the War Room on that, make sure you do. But just make sure you tune in for this card. March 26, 1X. Stamp Fairtex is on the card against Angela Lee. We've got rematches going on. Sohee Ham's rematching Denise Zamboanga. Great card. And for me, this kickboxing tournament has been one of the best that I've ever witnessed. One of the best all-round tournaments, Grand Prix. And we've had 10 contestants as well as the guys fighting for the belt as well. So it's storylines for days. I'm very excited to see this one. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting one. And I'm leaning towards Allazov just because I think he's looked devastating in his last few fights. But I've been wrong halfway through this tournament. Half of the amount of the things I've said about this tournament, I've been wrong. These guys are surprising me every time. So I'll be looking forward to being surprised once again. Make sure you catch it, and I'll see you next time.